Horror Nation, StarScream. This is bad comedy.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Legacy Voyager class Armada universe StarScream. Now growing up, Armada was one of the few Transformers shows that I did watch front to back, and from what I remember, Starscream's arc was very tragic. In a way, I would say his arc was very Shakespearean, but then again, I know little to nothing about Shakespeare except for Othello, which I unfortunately had to read it in class for English class, which was annoying, but whatever. But from what I can remember is that Starscream here had a very abusive and tragic arc. From basically, essentially, in his story, well, you all know that he's a seeker in the Decepticon Legion, but in Armada, he was always pushed around by Megatron and always bullied by the other Decepticons because they always mocked him on how he was the weakest and that he was never able to obtain a minicon. And speaking of minicons, we will talk about them in just a sec. But first, about his arc. Starscream, he was always pushed around by Megatron and abused to the point that other Decepticons also felt sorry for him. But towards the middle of Armada, he decided to change factions and join the Autobots because he knew that he knew that if he had a chance with the Autobots, he would gain at least some sort of respect and dignity from them, and that he did for a short while. He even befriended a girl named Alexis, who showed him that minicons aren't just weapons of mass destruction, and that they are also beings too. And from that, he had formed a relationship with her. Well, not relationship. That people might take that out of context. He had formed a slight bond with her, and the thing about him, Starscream and Alexis, is that there's a scene in the Armada TV series, is that when I believe it was if you want to correct me in the comments, feel free to down below. But I believe Starscream was on the moon. It was either the moon or Mars. He had his minicons with him, and this was at the time when Starscream was slowly converting into an Autobot, but he still was converted to an Autobot. Alexis had asked him for a souvenir from the moon or Mars, and that he gave her a, I believe it was a gem or a rock, like the size of like a typical a dollar coin or silver dollar coin, and apparently Alexis had kept that with her as like a necklace, and she had kept that with her till the very end of Starscream's road, which, spoiler alert, I'll try to keep the details vague, but towards the end, towards the final half of Armada, Starscream, now redubbed as Thundercracker because he had gotten a new paint job of blue instead of keeping his traditional red, he became known as Thundercracker, but people still call him Starscream. But during his final confrontation with his former boss, Megatron, Starscream was trying to tell Megatron that Unicron, the Planet Eater, was gonna destroy everyone if the Decepticons and Autobots didn't work together, but Megatron was having none of that shit. So with one final duel, Starscream and Megatron fought bravely, but instead of StarScream winning, he decided to let Megatron win, and the way he won was that Megatron had stabbed him right in the gut with the Star Saber, and we'll get to the Star Saber in just a little bit. But from what I can remember, this death hit me pretty emotionally, just as emotionally as when I saw the death of Optimus Prime in the 1986 Transformers movie, and that's because when Starscream couldn't convince Megatron, aka Galvatron, to join forces with the Autobots, he had used his proton torpedoes, or I believe it's proton torpedoes or proton jets, to fire a beam up at the moon, which is disguised as Unicron, and Unicron just slapped the shit out of Starscream, and with that, Starscream was basically disintegrated. He was just Thanos snapped away out of existence, and that was a pretty huge emotional reaction for the Transformers community. So yeah. Anyways, I shouldn't be talking about the TV show. I should be reviewing. Come on. Here we have Starscream in his robot mode. He is a Voyager class, and despite not owning the original, he is very accurate to his original toy, which I didn't have growing up, but I did own the Armada Universe Unicron when I was growing up, so that was fun. So for Starscream, he doesn't have his null rays, which is kind of blasphemous, but then again, the Armada universe kind of never made any sense, but it was very memorable for its catchy ass theme, and for, well, Gary Chalk as Optimus Prime and David K as Megatron. I believe David K was Megatron. So anyways, for articulation, his arms can move up and down. They are able to move 360 degrees, but due to his wings, which are also able to rotate 360 degrees, his rotation is kind of limited. So yeah, his arms, his elbows move up and down. They are on a double joint, but that's both the transformation. His wings can go back and a tiny bit forward, but if you go forward, that might end up breaking them. So they're just able to go back. His legs are able to rotate 360 degrees, but that's also for the transformation. No wrist swivel or articulation, but then again, that's understandable since he's a Voyager class. Sorry. I take a bite of my soup. Ooh, spicy. Whew. Alright. His head is able to look up that far, or look down that far. It is able to move. It is not even able to look left and right, which is stupid. His head is on a ball joint, but he is unable to rotate 360 degrees, so you can't decapitate him, which is a shame. His knees go up that far. He's able to kick up that far and then kick back pretty far. His ankles have a slight pivot, so if you want to get him in some weak action shots, that is possible. And his proton cannons. Now this is a slight issue I have with Armada Starscream, is his kibble, or let me rephrase, his backpack. For show accuracy and toy accuracy, his backpack is supposed to be like this, because in the TV show, whenever he activated his minicon gimmick, these would flip forward and it would just fire a massive wave of energy And like with this, it kind of gets in the way because of how lanky these are. So it's best to keep them back if you want to show accuracy. But then again, if you don't like his backpack the way it is, you're able to just do that and have them get out of the way, which will then allow him to rotate his head 360 degrees. Rip his head off! I'm just kidding. But for now, let's just keep it like that. So, come on. Alright. As for accessories, he comes with the Star Saber. Now, the Star Saber is composed of 3 minicons, and basically, if you don't know what the minicons are, they are basically a more bite-sized, fun-sized version of the Transformers, who are roughly human-sized and are able to combine into destructive weapons, which are then able to plug into minicon ports on the Transformers and give them devastating power-ups and energy and powerful attacks. As for StarScream's minicon ports, they would have been back here, I believe, and that would have flipped these open. But then again, I just said that already, so come on. Anyways, and then next up we have his sword, wing saber, sword saber, wing blade. But basically, in the TV show, StarScream was able to remove one of his wings and then use it as his sword, which was a gimmick of the original StarScream toy. So yeah, unlike the original, this doesn't transform, so it's just an accessory. But if you do want a bit of nostalgia, you can attach the wing onto the sword onto his wing to make it somewhat resemble his the sword he had for his wing in the TV show. But anyways, yeah. Let's see. Alright, now let's move on to the transformation. Now the transformation is pretty simple, so again, as usual, I'm not going to be talking, I'm going to be mainly more focused on the transformation, so let's begin. And here we have StarScream in his jet mode. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. Very, very faithful to the original toy. Yeah. Works pretty good. You're also able to store his weapons on his wings. So let me just do that. And yeah. As for size comparison, we have Studio Series Leader Class Coronation StarScream. And Transformers War for Cybertron, Transformers War for Cybertron Siege, Voyager Class Optimus Prime. Actually, oh my god, Gogeta, please. Fuck it. Anyways, I'm gonna just take these off and then put them onto bam. There we go. And then just flip these. There we go. Yeah. Anyways. And for this last of the size comparison, here we have a last review, which my previous review, which was the Transformers Studio Series Version of the Fallen Leader Class Fallen, which is, yeah, if you want to see my last review on, if you want to see my review on this monstrosity, and go ahead, but it wasn't a fun review, that's for sure. So yeah. If you want to see my next review, this will be my next review, which I will unbox during for the review. So yeah, let's try to aim for 5 likes. So yeah, I hope you're having a good day. I know I am. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like what you see, you can always take it back. So yeah, I'll see you all later. Peace.